I want to add lore to my Minecraft world. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, and it 100% makes your world so much more like immersive and just makes it feel way more alive. So I've started off by building a massive dam here, which is a little bit flat at the moment, so I'm just going to do some texturing because I want it kind of a bit like rickety and broken. So I'm going to use dark oak for kind of like almost like planks or something that's like that they've had to like replace, but with not exactly the same wood. And yeah, I'm building a dam because I want the lore of my village to be, well, I've decided the village is going to be called Wasptober Village, which sounds a bit Asian to be honest, but yeah, so Wasptober Village is an abbreviation for what a stupid place to build a village. And it's a stupid place to build a village because right next to it there's a massive dam holding back a huge lake, and if the dam bursts then the whole village will get swept away. And I'm building here a little trickle of water going downwards, just to kind of imply that there's holes and it's not an amazing dam. So yeah, you never know, the whole village could be destroyed any day now. I think I want to make use of the new geysers for this. So I think it's a lava and then potent sulfur and then not lava. Jeez. Right, so lava, then potent sulfur, and then water, and that should, yeah, wow. That's the first time I've seen that in game, you know. That's quite cool, that. I mean, it's a little bit tall, but I can fix that. If I put it like that, I think that's a bit more ideal, so I just need to like find a way to cover it up. Why does it stop when I put a block there? I think if I just do full glass blocks instead. Wait, hang on, will panes work? No, panes don't work. So if I do full glass blocks instead, then it should keep the particles a little bit lower. Because I just want it like a trickle of water to show that the dam's got a bit of wear and tear. And I don't want it to be like a massive waterfall. But I think that looks pretty cool. And the glass is a little bit on the chunky side, but I can call that. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good if I'm honest. I think next we'll have to do some terrain, obviously just so it doesn't look like a massive wall in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to use my World Edit add-on thingy to build some terrain because there's no way I'm placing it all by hand. And if I use this lifter brush here, like I explained last time, it just lifts the terrain up, so I just need to get some shaping going and then I can smoothen that out and it'll look like a nice hill. I mean, to be fair, I think I want it to look more like a cliff because it's going to be quite a steep incline, and also it needs to be kind of quite tall to hold the lake, especially because I've made the dam so tall. So I'm going to get going with that. I'm just going to start off with moss, but I'll probably do some texturing after. That's looking pretty sound, I think. Like I think that's quite realistic, you know, and it kind of like, it blends in well with the dam, and I've done the other side now, and yeah, the dam just looks kind of like nicely snuggle in between. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think finishing touches, we need to add some darker tones to kind of show maybe there's like a little bit of a like wet part in the grass, or like a part that's a bit further back, or like a part that's got shadows cast on it. So I'm going to use some green terracotta for that, and then that should add a nice bit of texture and just a little bit more detail, I think. There we go. I mean, it's not like a massive difference, but it's the subtle details that kind of make a build. We've done that, so I reckon now we need to move on to the lake. And I think if I just make a massive, like, kind of cube full of moss and then dig out a kind of ball in it, obviously I'll need it to be a bit more, like, kind of, it's got to look natural, so it can't be, like, a perfectly symmetrical ball. But I can cope with that. Right then, here's the cube that we need. I think that, yeah, it might be a bit tall. I might have to cut some off. Yeah, right, there we go. I've cut some off. And I think we're good to go now. We've got a nice bit of space for the lake. And I think I'll just use the lifter tool that I was using to do the terrain before, but just reverse it and make one that kind of like erodes instead. So can I find it there? We've got eroder brush, give item. And then that should make the terrain go a bit further down, I think, if it works. There we go. So we'll just do that all the way around, get like a kind of nice, like, looking shape, one that's natural, and just dig it out and make it a bit deeper. I'll use a smooth brush now, because it's a bit bumpy at the moment, so I just want it a bit more flat. And there we go. That is looking, I mean, to be fair, like, even as terrain, that would look quite cool, but I need to cover it in water. But before I cover it in water, I want to cover it in soil sand, which is a bit weird, but I mean, this might be a hot take, but I think soil sand looks better as wet dirt / mud. Like, yeah, I think soil sand looks better as mud than the actual mud block does, because it's just a really nice kind of chocolatey dark brown. And I've mostly covered this all up with my brush. I might have to do a little bit by hand because there's some parts of the brush can't reach, but I'll do that afterwards. And yeah, I think once that's underwater, that'll look really nice. Oh, I'm gonna have to fix that. That's just a random gap in the drain. I'm just gonna do that now. I guess while I do it, I may as well carry on talking about the lore. So I've wrote a little, like, I've done a little book and quill about it and just gone, yeah, it's called Wasptober because it's an abbreviation for what a stupid place to build a village. Clearly, the people who made it weren't that clever, because I'm just, for the sake of the storyline, the lake was there before the village, and they've built a really rubbish dam that just about holds back the water, but the village is like under threat. It's really, the lore's really like unnecessary, but it's just kind of fun. And there we go. We've got the whole thing covered in soil sand. I don't know which one it is, but it's one of the soil blocks. It's the one that doesn't make bubble elevators. And then I'm just gonna select this whole thing. I might have to go down the bottom so I make sure I get like all of it. And then use my selection tool. And then if I just replace air with water, I think that should, oh, I've missed out that bit. I'll do that after. So if I set the mask to air, that means it's going to replace air. And then if I set the palette to water, then it should, there we go. It switched it to water. Let's have a look at how it is. I think that's pretty sound, you know. I really like the way the soil soil thing looks under. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It's a big lake. It looks like it could like easily sweep away a village. So to finish off, I just want to do a little bit of a gradient. So to go on from like muddy ground to just the normal grassy, mossy ground. So I went from soil sand to soil, and then went to mangrove wood, green terracotta, lime terracotta, and then moss. And that just kind of like faded the mud out nicely. So it looks like there's been it's a little bit wet closer to the lake, and then it gets drier and just turns back to normal grass. And I'm pretty happy with how it looks, if I'm honest. There we go. I've added some plants down at the bottom of the lake as well, and that's it done. I think, honestly, it's really, really nice. The dam looks cool, and it just all fits in really nice. I was a bit worried that the dam would be too big, but I think it adds a nice bit to the village, like lore-wise and build-wise. For one final thing before we finish off the mini project, I need somewhere to put my book, because I've wrote the book of lore. So I'm going to get a lectern, put the book in, that just explains the lore, and then I just want to do like a little stand. Just because I think it's cool, because when I eventually give people a world download, they can just kind of like explore. This is like the entrance to the village, and then they'll have this to read. So, yeah. And it's just another little space filler build. I love good space filler build. Just makes it a bit less boring. So, I think just maybe a little bit of an arch there. I don't want it too complicated, but I do want it to look nice. I think that's too complicated. I think that's kind of too much with the hanging signs. I might just, if I leave it like that, I think I'm pretty happy with that. So we've got the law book there, you can pause it if you want to read it, but now we are done. And I'm really happy with how it's turned out. It's added a nice bit of lore, nice build to the village. And yeah, I've enjoyed making it. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. And yeah, bye.